Manila, November 24, 2025. Tensions erupt in the West Philippine Sea as foreign vessels blockade a Philippine-held outpost. Philippine Air Force jets scramble, engines roaring toward the disputed waters. The world watches, holding its breath. This standoff is more than a headline. It's a test of decades of military modernization. For years, the PAF struggled with outdated equipment and limited capabilities. Now, its pilots face a defining moment. The crisis puts every aspect of the PAF under scrutiny: pilot training, weapon systems, and strategic doctrine. The government's investment in modernization is on the line, and the outcome will send a message to the entire region. As jets approach the flashpoint, the nation waits to see if its Air Force is truly ready to defend its skies. To truly understand the Philippine Air Force as it stands today, we must journey back to a time of uncertainty and vulnerability, a period now known as the fighter gap years. This era marked the lowest point in the PAF's proud history, a time when the skies above the Philippines were left unguarded, and the nation's defenders faced unprecedented challenges. In 2005, the retirement of the last Northrop F-5s signaled a dramatic turning point. For the first time in decades, the Philippines found itself without a single operational supersonic jet fighter. The once mighty F-5s, symbols of national pride and deterrence, were now silent, their engines cold, their cockpits empty. For nearly a decade, the Philippine Air Force was forced to rely on SIAI Marchetti S-2111 trainer jets. These aircraft, designed for basic flight instruction, were never intended for the rigors of air combat. The nation's airspace was left exposed, with only these trainers standing between the Philippines and any potential threat. The skies, once patrolled by capable interceptors, now seemed emptier and more vulnerable than ever. The roots of this crisis ran deep. The closure of U.S. military bases in the early 1990s removed a crucial layer of security and support. Then, the Asian financial crisis of 1997 struck, gutting defense budgets and forcing the government to shelve long-awaited modernization plans. The dream of a modern, capable Air Force faded into the background as economic realities took center stage. With resources stretched thin, the Air Force shifted its focus inward. Instead of defending the nation's borders, the PAF was tasked with internal security operations, counterinsurgency, disaster response, and support for ground troops. Its traditional role as the shield of Philippine airspace became a distant memory, replaced by new, less glamorous duties. The consequences were stark. Without credible interceptors or modern radar systems, foreign aircraft could, and sometimes did, violate Philippine airspace with impunity. The nation's sovereignty was at risk, and the sense of helplessness grew with each unchallenged incursion. Morale among pilots and aircrew plummeted. The opportunity to train on modern fighters vanished, replaced by frustration and uncertainty. Many skilled aviators left for opportunities abroad, while those who remained struggled to keep their skills sharp with outdated equipment. As years passed, the institutional knowledge of air combat, tactics, maneuvers, and the art of aerial warfare began to fade. Training programs were cut back, and the next generation of pilots grew up without ever experiencing the thrill or responsibility of flying a true fighter jet. The Philippine Air Force, once counted among Southeast Asia's best and most respected, became a shadow of its former self. The proud legacy of air power and national defense seemed to slip further away with each passing year. Yet, even in these darkest times, hope endured. Across the nation, there remained a quiet determination, a belief that one day, the PAF would rise again. The nation waited, watching the skies, longing for a chance to rebuild and reclaim its place among the region's air powers. The turning point for Philippine defense came in April 2012, at the remote and contested Scarborough Shoal. What began as a routine patrol quickly escalated into a tense international standoff that would change the nation's military trajectory for years to come. The world watched as Chinese ships surrounded the shoal while the Philippines scrambled to respond. The standoff exposed a harsh reality. The Philippines had no fighter jets in the air, no credible deterrent to project power or defend its own waters. The skies remained empty, a silent testament to the country's vulnerability. The Philippine Air Force could do little more than observe as China tightened its grip. The loss of Scarborough Shoal was not just a territorial setback. It was a wake-up call that echoed across the archipelago. News of the standoff triggered a wave of outrage. Across the nation, citizens demanded answers and action. The humiliation forced the government to confront the consequences of years of underinvestment in defense. Suddenly, the fighter gap was no longer an abstract policy issue. It became a direct threat to national sovereignty and security, a vulnerability that could no longer be ignored. The crisis galvanized political will. The long-stalled Armed Forces Modernization Act finally received the funding and attention it desperately needed. For the first time in decades, defense became a national priority. The mission was clear: rebuild the nation's air and maritime defense, starting with the acquisition of a new generation of fighter jets. The country could no longer afford to be caught unprepared. Scarborough Shoal became more than a disputed reef. It became a symbol, a rallying cry for every modernization effort that followed. It united the nation behind a common cause. The crisis shifted the nation's defense posture overnight. The Philippines began to rethink its entire approach to security, determined never to be caught off guard again. The search for a new fighter jet began in earnest, with officials scouring the globe for the right aircraft to restore the country's air power and credibility. The lesson was clear and unforgettable: sovereignty means little without the power to defend it. Scarborough Shoal was the wake-up call that set the Philippines on a new path, one defined by vigilance, modernization, and the resolve to protect its future. In the early 2010s, the Philippine Air Force faced a critical challenge. Years of underfunding and aging equipment had left the nation's skies vulnerable, and the need for a modern fighter jet became urgent. The PAF leadership knew that without a capable supersonic aircraft, the country's air defense and sovereignty were at risk. This urgency drove the PAF to seek a new fighter that could restore its edge and credibility. The US-made F-16 Fighting Falcon was considered the gold standard: fast, versatile, and battle-proven. However, the high cost of acquisition and maintenance combined with complex political considerations made the F-16 an unattainable dream for the Philippines at that time. The search for an alternative led to South Korea's F-A-50 Golden Eagle. This aircraft, a supersonic trainer with genuine combat capabilities, offered a perfect balance of affordability, performance, and reliability. The F-A-50 was not just a trainer. It could carry modern weapons, perform air-to-air and air-to-ground missions, and operate in the demanding conditions of Southeast Asia. In 2014, after careful evaluation, the Philippines signed a deal to acquire 12 F-A-50s. This marked a historic moment, signaling the country's return to the supersonic age after decades of flying subsonic jets. The arrival of the first F-A-50s at Clark Air Base in 2015 was met with celebration and pride. For the PAF, it was more than just a delivery. It was a milestone that restored both capability and national confidence. With the F-A-50, the PAF could finally restart advanced interceptor training, allowing pilots to hone their skills on a modern platform. This was crucial for rebuilding the Air Force's core competencies and re-establishing a credible air defense posture. For the first time in years, the PAF had the means to patrol its airspace effectively and respond swiftly to any intrusions or threats. The F-A-50's speed and agility made it a formidable guardian of Philippine skies. The F-A-50 soon proved its worth in real combat. During the 2017 Battle of Marawi, these jets provided precision air support to ground troops, demonstrating their effectiveness in both air policing and close air support roles. Their performance under fire earned respect and validated the decision to acquire them. The acquisition of the F-A-50 did more than just upgrade hardware. It revitalized the Air Force's fighting spirit. Pilots regained confidence, and the entire force benefited from renewed training and teamwork. The F-A-50 became a symbol of national resolve and determination. It showed the world that the Philippines was committed to defending its sovereignty and modernizing its military. The introduction of the F-A-50 set the stage for a new era of modernization, inspiring further investments in technology, training, and capability upgrades across the armed forces. With the F-A-50 soaring in its arsenal, the Philippine Air Force was truly back in the game, ready to face new challenges and protect the nation's skies with pride and professionalism. Critics say the F-A-50 isn't a true fighter. Its radar and payload are limited compared to top-tier jets, but the PAF never intended it to match advanced adversaries head-on. The F-A-50's real mission: bridge the fighter gap and rebuild lost skills. It's a stepping stone, not the final answer. Its presence alone deters casual airspace violations and raises the cost of aggression. In low to medium intensity conflicts, the F-A-50 is highly effective for patrol, support, and limited defense. It created a new generation of trained pilots and ground crew. The F-A-50 established a baseline air defense where none existed. It's a symbol of renewed commitment to sovereignty. The F-A-50 is the foundation, not the finish line, for a stronger Air Force. The journey to a modern PAF had truly begun. While the F-A-50 filled the fighter gap, the PAF needed a modern platform for internal security. Enter the Embraer A-29 Super Tucano, a rugged, efficient turboprop ideal for counterinsurgency. Delivered in 2020, the Super Tucano excels at long-endurance surveillance and precise ground support. Its low operating cost allows frequent missions and training. The A-29 took over close air support, freeing F-A-50s for air defense. This two-tiered approach maximizes effectiveness and resource use. The Super Tucano may not be glamorous, but it's vital to the PAF's readiness and success. With the F-A-50 as a bridge and the A-29 handling internal threats, the PAF now eyes a true multi-role fighter. 3 contenders remain: the US F-16 Viper, Swedish JAS-39 Gripen, and South Korea's KF-21 Boramae. The F-16 offers unmatched US alliance and capability, but at a steep cost. The Gripen is cost-effective, easy to maintain, and ideal for dispersed operations. The KF-21 is a new, stealthier design, promising advanced tech and industrial cooperation. Each choice carries strategic, financial, and political implications. The decision will shape Philippine air power for decades. The stakes couldn't be higher. The debate is fierce. F-16 advocates value U.S. ties and proven capability despite the price. Gripen supporters argue for affordability, more flight hours, and self-reliance. KF-21 backers see a chance to leap ahead technologically despite the risks of a new platform. The choice is about more than hardware, it's about national strategy and identity. Capability, cost, and politics all weigh heavily. The decision will echo for generations. In late 2025, the PAF is stronger than it's been in decades. The fighter gap is closed, and a balanced force structure is in place. But the real test lies ahead, choosing and integrating a true multi-role fighter. The F-A-50 is a stopgap. The next step will define the PAF's future. Advanced fighters require not just purchase, but investment in radar, refueling, and support systems. Sustained funding and political will are essential. The PAF's progress is real, but the journey is just beginning. The choices made now will shape Philippine security for half a century. The eagle has learned to fly again. Whether it will soar depends on the nation's resolve.